Moving forward with our Santa jumper. In order to fix some issues that we have, what we need to do is create a gameplay controller. So I'm going to click under game and create empty, and this is going to be our gameplay controller. I like to position everything at 0, 0, even though it does not matter. And when I say 0, 0, that is for the X and for the Y, so don't get all confused and I don't know what you're doing. Well, that's only for the X and for the Y. So gameplay controller. And we also need to create that script. So I'm gonna go right click here in the scripts folder. I'm gonna say game managers or game controllers. So game controllers. Inside of it, I am gonna right click C# script gameplay controller. So gameplay controller is gonna be our gameplay controller. So double clicking on it, tagging the class, and I already explained why am I doing it. So class like this, and now I'm gonna give a little bit of space so that we can see what we are typing here. So our gameplay controller is gonna be an instance. So here I'm gonna say public static gameplay controller instance, and when I say instance, I mean singleton. That is what I wanted to say. So our gameplay controller is gonna be a singleton. So here I'm gonna say private void make singleton. And inside of it, what we are gonna do is we are gonna say if instance is equal to null, then instance is equal to this. Now, again, I am sorry, we're not gonna make it as a singleton, but only an instance. So we are gonna have it as an instance, and we are gonna call this in the awake function. So make singleton. And since we are setting it to be an instance like this, it is a good idea to go here and create onDisable. And in the onDisable, you are gonna say instance is equal to null, just so that we remove a reference from this script. So the next time when we rerun the game, well, this instance will be null, and here we are gonna set it back to be equal to this. Now, regarding this if statement here, I had once one of the students tell me, this is very annoying. Now this, what you did here, so confusing. I don't know what you're doing. For the next students, this will be confusing, blah, blah, blah. Well, this is the same as just writing like this. So if you have only one statement, if you have it after the if statement, you can write it without the curly brackets. So I don't know what the big fuss was with that guy. I mean, I'm not trying to offend him or anything, but it's simple as that. If you have only one statement, so only one line of code after the if statement, like we have here, you can omit curly brackets. If you have more than one, you can put curly brackets, and that's the whole philosophy behind it. So sorry that you did not understand, bro, but this is what it is. So what we also need is we need a serialize field, which is a private game object, which is our platform. Now we need a platform because our gameplay controller is going to instantiate the platforms, and because of that we need to go in our assets, right click, folder, and I'm going to say prefabs. In the prefabs folder we have our platform, which is this one right here. So what we have attached on it is a box collider, platform effector, rigid body. That is our good, the platform script. So simply drag it from the scene, put it right here, and we have created a reusable prefab. So now I can go here in our gameplay controller and I can attach it right here. So attach it on the gameplay controller. We can do this because we type this serialize field, which will make this variable visible right here in the inspector panel. If you remove this serialize field, then the variable will not be visible here in the inspector panel. And that being said, we can take this platform, we can simply deactivate it here from the scene because we don't need it anymore, since our gameplay controller is going to be the one who is going to instantiate these platforms. Now we need a couple of more variables. One of them is a private float, which I am going to name distance. So distance between platforms, which is equal to 4.1f, and private int count platforms, and a private float, so it's float last platform position y. Now, these are all self-explanatory, so distance between the platforms will be the distance between one of the other platforms. So for example, if I put this platform back, now this right here that you see, now this distance from the first and the second platform is our variable that I just, well, explained. So this one right here, the distance between the platforms. Count platforms will count how many platforms we have in the game, and the last platform position y will, well, count or store the last platform's position y. So what do we need to do now? Well, we need to go and create another function, which is going to be public void, because we need to access this function, and it's going to be named create platform. So create platform, and what you're going to do here is you're simply going to say last platform position y plus equals distance between platforms. And we are simply now going to create our platform. So we are going to say here game object new platform is equal to instantiate, and instantiate will create a copy of an object that we put inside of these parentheses, which is voila, our platform that we have created a prefab out of it. So it will create a copy from this platform. So it will create a copy from it, and it will store it in the new platform. So we will have the exact platform as this one right here. If I just put it back, we will have the exact platform as this one right here that you see. So going back here, what we need to do now is, well, we need to give it a position. So I'm going to say new platform.transform, transform.position is equal to new vector 3. And in this one, we are going to say 0 for the x, last platform position mark for the y, and 0 for the y axis. Now, we don't need to worry about the z axis, excuse me, not y axis, but z axis, because z axis can determine the order of rendering. But since we are using sorting layers and our platform is put on the platform sorting layer, we don't have to worry about it. And we are gonna go here, we are gonna say new platform dot name is equal to platform, and here I'm gonna say plus count platforms, and I am gonna go here and say count platforms plus, just so that we can increment it by 1. Now this plus is deprecated from Swift, and I don't know why am I saying it, because this is a C#, but which is interesting. But anyway, plus only adds 1 to it. It's the same as we say count platforms is equal to count platforms plus, like this. Let me just put it back, plus 1. It's the same as if we say like this, or if we say plus equals 1. So it's the same thing, but this is the shorthand. Plus, it will simply add to it, well, the plus. Now, since we are in the beginning, we do need to go here and we need to call create platform, just so that we have an initial platform to create. So this initial platform will be created when the game starts. And if we go back now in our game and if I run it, we will see that we have an initial platform, which is, whoa, look at where the platform is, my brother. Look at where the platform is. So let me just go back, and what we can do to fix this is we can reposition a little bit our camera. So we can take the camera and we can set it at, let's say 3.66 for the Y. Now we do need to take all of these backgrounds. So this one also, let me just take all of these 3. I'm gonna position them right here. This one also needs to be on 366 so that it will be positioned right here. I'm gonna take the first one, snap it. Let's snap it here. The second one, just go back here. Let me snap you. Almost sounded like slap you, but I want to slap you. BG3, put it right here, zoom in, and bam. Snapping it right here. Now we do need to also reposition our Santa. So the Santa, where is he? Here he is. Santa needs to be at 0.763, and our platform, which is the first platform, where is it? It's right here. It needs to be at, or the Y, at 0. Like this. So I think this is good. If we rerun the game now, yes, this is awesome. So we can jump on the platform now and notice, voila. Now we still have this problem that the Santa is following the platform now. Don't worry about this. But what we need to go or do is go back in the player script and right here after we set the parent. So after we set the parent, we do need to call our gameplay controller that instance that create platform. So this will create a new platform. And the reason for it, well, because we need a new platform when we jump on the one that is above us. And that's the wisdom behind the last platform position Y, because here we are storing the last platform position Y, and now we are gonna simply, use it again. So for example, if at the moment this is 0 and we say plus equals distance between platforms, then it's 4.1. So the next time when we call it, it will be 4.1 plus 4.1. So it will reposition the next platform above the current one. So let's see that in action. So if we go here and notice now, if I jump on it, notice how we have another platform now. So we have another platform and let's try to jump on it and voila, we are here jumping on the next platform. Now this is annoying that we need to fix why the Santa is following the current platform. But notice we do have, while our platforms are spawning and they are going and so on and so forth, we do need to collect the platforms and the backgrounds and everything else, which we will do in a second. But the first things first, we do need to correct this, why our Santa is following the platform even though when he jumps on it. Now, the reason why the Santa is following the platform when we jump is because if we go in our player script here in the jump function, when we jump, we need to, call the set parent. So we need to go here, set parent will be equal to null. So it will be equal to null because now if we go back, we don't have a parent and we will not follow him. So notice now, if we jump on the platform, bam, we are on it. And notice now, we don't have a parent, so we are not following it. Notice, almost died. Let's try to die. No, I'm so good at this game that I cannot die. Try to die now. No, not again. This time, no. I am pretty good at this game, my brothers. And bam, I have died. Now, I did die. And we see that it's still moving because I probably landed on some previous platform below it, and let's fix that now. So in order to fix it, we do need to go in our main camera, and I am gonna click here on create empty. So right click on the main camera and create empty. It will create an empty game object, which we are gonna call BG and platform collectors. So BG and platform collectors. We do need to click 2 times. So right click, create empty. This one is going to be, the BG collector. So BG collector, which we are gonna add to it. So we are gonna add to it a box 2D collider. I am gonna resize a little bit on the y-axis, something like this, and rescale it on the x-axis. Set it to be a trigger. Position is at negative 15. And we do need to add a rigid body to it, which is gonna be kinematic. Now, the reason for adding the rigid body is that we will not be able to detect collision if we do not add a rigid body to it. So we do need to, add a rigid body to it in order for us to detect collision. And the next platform collector is going to be, which I'm simply gonna duplicate this one. Can I copy it, copy and paste it? Yes, I can. Put it right here to be the child. And we are gonna rename it to platform collector. So platform collector, this one is gonna be at position minus 5.39. And it's gonna have the same effects. Same effects except for our platform or our BG collector. We do need to go here in these layers. So we need to add layers here. The first layer is gonna be BG for the background. The second one is gonna be BG mover. And this one, BG collector, is gonna be on the BG mover. And also our backgrounds right here, select all of them, and they are gonna be at the BG layer. And for the tag, I'm gonna go here and create a new tag, which I am gonna call background, and select all 4 of our backgrounds. So backgrounds, and set the tag on them to be, well, background. We are also gonna add a box collider to them, and we are gonna set it to be a trigger, even though it's not a requirement. But we are gonna do it because it's not a requirement, because our BG collector is set to be a trigger. So if we want to detect the trigger between 2 colliders, we only need to set one of them to be a trigger. Now, since we added layers to our BG collector and our backgrounds, we do need to go here under Edit and Project Settings and Physics 2D. So Edit, which is right here, then Project Settings, then Physics 2D. And these layers right here that you see, this one right here where I'm pointing with my mouse, notice now the mouse has resized itself. Now right here, we do need to set that only our BG and, well, the BG mover and the BG should only collide. So it will not collide with all of these right here. And it will only collide, so the BG mover will collide with the BG. And the BG will not collide with anything else. So BG, not even with the default. So what we did here is we actually made sure that our BG mover, so our BG mover and our background will only collide with each other. So BG mover and the BG will collide. If you uncheck this checkbox, then they will not collide with each other. And this right here will save us performance issues, and also it will save us some other issues because, well, default object BG is already registered. I do not see it being registered. Just a second. Yeah, I do not see it. So anyway, dude, shut up, Unity. It will save us a lot of performance issues, and it will save us some other bugs that we could encounter. So that is the reason why we are gonna make only them collide with each other. So the BG collector and the BGs only. Now, what we need to do is go in our scripts folder, and here in a new folder, creating a new folder, which I'm gonna call BG and Platform Collectors. And inside of it, right click new script, C# script. I'm gonna call this one Platform Collector. And I am gonna attach that script on the Platform Collector itself. And what we are gonna do here, tag the class as I always do. What we are gonna do here is we are simply gonna create void on trigger enter 2D, which takes a collider 2D, but just a second. So collider 2D, which I'm gonna name target. And here we're gonna test if target dot, not target joint, if target dot tag. Oh, I type target, not target. So if target dot tag is equal to platform. So if target dot tag is equal to platform, what we want to do? Well, we want to go here. We're going to say target dot game object dot set active to false, so that we deactivate the game object. Now we are going to do the same thing when our player dies. So we're going to say if target dot tag is equal to player. So there is no harm in using our platform collectors to also detect when the player dies. So we are going to say target, or simply, we can simply say here time scale is equal to 0, just so that we stop the game, because the player has died. He has died and he's dead, goner. And we don't need to, well, continue with the game. Now, this right here will deactivate the game objects. What that means, well, notice here, if I have the player, which is this one right here, if I click here in the inspector panel right near this cube, if I uncheck this checkbox, boom, the player is not active. What that means, he is in the scene, but he is not active. The scripts attached on him will not work. Nothing on him will work because the player is not active, and that will save performance issues. Because we are going upwards. Every time we jump on a platform, notice here, now click on the asset store, which I am quickly gonna close. Now notice here, we have this platform. If we jump, we are gonna go up, and the previous platform, it stays down there. So the platform, it's there, and it will take performance issues. Now, don't get me wrong, this one platform will not take performance issues, but what if we go up and we jump on this platform? Oh, boom, I have died. Null reference exception. Let me just see, transform set parent. We'll fix this issue later. But one second that I wanted to show you is if we jump on this platform, for example, come on, jump now. Okay, one platform we have jumped, second platform we have jumped. Now, imagine that we jump 3,000 platforms and they all stay in the game, but we don't use them. Well, that will have performance issues and it will, well, kick our game. So it will have performance issues on the mobile devices, so on and so forth. That's why when we set them to be deactivated, then, well, we are saving those performance issues. Now, what do we want to do is we want to create another script, which I'm going to go here and project, and this is going to be our BG collector. So BG collector, and we are going to put it right on the BG collector right here, open it and tag the class quickly. Class. And here we are going to collect our backgrounds. So we do need a couple of variables. So we need a private game object array, which I'm going to call BGs, and we need a private float first y. This is the reason for it, and I'm going to change this to awake. The reason for this is because we want to get a reference to the first background in our game. What we are going to do is we are going to take our BGs is equal to game object dot find game objects. So game objects, which is a plural, not singular. So it needs to have this S right here if we want to get all the game objects with the tag, which is background. So we want to find all of the game objects with the tag background. So make sure that here is plural. Don't you come to me, oh, I did like you in the video, it's not working. If you did like me and typed find game objects with tag, then it will work. So game objects. It's a plural, not singular. It will get us all game objects in the scene that have a tag background. Now, the reason why we need the first Y is the order by which this gets these backgrounds. So the order by which these backgrounds are collected, it does not mean that this is the first background, this is the second. No, it can be that this is the first one, this is the second, this is the third, and this is the fourth background. So what we need to do is we need to go here and we need to write a for loop. So I'm going to say first y is equal to BGs and the element that's at 0 index dot position, or transform that position dot y. So it will store the position y of the element that's at the 0th index. If you don't know arrays, take a look at my video about arrays, and then everything will be more clear. So now I'm going to write a for loop. So I'm going to say for int I, which is equal to 1, as long as I is less than bgs.length, I am going to increment I. And what am I going to do here? I'm going to compare. I'm going to say if first y is less than backgrounds and the element that's at index I transform position y. So if this is true, meaning that our first y is less than, that means we need to change our first y. So we need to say first y is equal to, and we are gonna simply take this right here, copy it, and put it right here. Now, why do we need to change if the first y is less than? Well, because we are going upwards, and going upwards on the y-axis means in the positive side. So for example, the lowest y is 3.66. The next y is at 12.16. The next one is at 20.66. And the next one is at 29.16. This is my point. Because, as I said, we need to get a reference to the first y. So the background that has the lowest y position, which is this one right here. That's why we are testing if it's lower, if the number is less than. So if it's less than the current number that we have here. So for example, let's say that the transform, this one right here, the element that's at the 0th index, meaning the first element in this array, has this position. So let's say the first element has this position. Let's say 12.16. So it has 12.16, and now we are going through all of these backgrounds and we are testing if 12.16 is less than this position. And let's say this position is, for example, 29.16. So if it's less than, that means that it is lower. Then we are going to simply assign it because we need the first, or the element that's at top right here. So this is one that we need. So this is because what we are going to do is we are going to take this one background. Let me just memorize its Y position. We are simply going to take it and reposition it, bam, right here. But for that, we do need to know where is this position right here so that we can simply put it above it. So now let's do that actually. So we are going to do that in onTriggerEnter. So here I'm going to say void onTriggerEnter 2D, which takes a collider 2D, which I'm going to name target, not target like previously I did. And what we are going to do here is we are going to check if target.tag is equal to background. Come on keyboard, don't let me down. So if the target.tag is equal to our background, what we are going to do is we are going to say here vector3, which is a temporary position, is equal to target dot transform that position. So we are getting the position of the background. So we are getting the position of the background and we're getting its height. So we're going to say float height is equal to, and we need to do it like this. So we need to cast it. So we need to say here box collider 2D. Then we need to say target. Then we need to say dot size dot y. What this actually means here is that we are getting the box collider from the target and its size y. We can do this because we have attached a box collider 2D on our background. So now when we have the height, we are going to say temp.y is equal to first position y plus the height. And this is going to do exactly what I said previously. So it's going to take this background, so the lower one, and let me just copy its position again. And it's going to take the first y, which is this y right here, and it's simply going to position it right here using the height. And bam. This is what we are doing here. So temp y is equal to first y plus height. So we are going to say here target that transform that position is equal to our temp, and our first y is equal to temp dot y, which is the new first y because we have changed it, and this is the new first y. So we are good to go. If we go back and try to jump from one platform to another one, notice here I'm jumping from one platform to another one, bam. Again, I am jumping. We are not gonna run out of our platforms now. This one is gonna be a tricky one. Bam, yes, I did make it. Again, and I'm gonna play it a little bit more. Maybe jump 2, 3, 4, no, died. Shit. Let me go here and select the player. I did not tag the player. That's the reason the game is not stopping. So if I rerun the game, let's try to die now because we set the time scale to be 0 if the player dies. So we tried it 2 times. It did not work. Let's try to die now. Boom. And notice now the game has stopped because we have tagged the player. Let me try one more time just to play the game so that we can see that we will not run out of backgrounds. Now, I am not good at this game when I'm supposed to be. So one more time. Come on, jump on it. Let me just see where the collectors are. Okay, here is one collector. Come on, jump on it. Yeah. For a moment there, I thought it's not gonna jump. Notice, did you see? Just move the background. Let me try it one more time. Jump on it. And notice now. So I need to jump one more time. Now, notice it. Bam. Did you see that? Did you see it moved the background? Now, this is working. We see that we are also collecting our platforms because I see here platforms are inactive. Forgot the word. So they are disabled, they are not active, and you can try this on your own to see if we are actually collecting these platforms and backgrounds, but we do, you saw that. I'm not sure if you catch it, but I saw it. Anyways, you can test it on your own to see if it actually works because this video is far too long and I'm gonna stop here and continue in the next video.